right, we're back. It's still the 11th of August. We're in Habakkuk chapter 2. It's 2025. God has me in the prophets for a reason, because we're looking at end time preparedness. Are you ready for the fulfillment of the book of Revelation and the blast of the 7 trumpets? The seals cause so much pain. The 7 trumpets are like the final breaking off and the declaration of the authority of Yeshua over everything, right? Every force that we fight today, he is going to declare his authority over every enemy. Psalm 110. All things must be brought under his feet. So Habakkuk is going to deal here now in chapter 2. After we know the just shall live by faith because they wait. They're patient. This is the key. I pray for, if I commit sin, what I confess the most is impatience or lack of faith. We struggle when we're in a delay. All of us do. It's just part of the human experience. We move in a society that everything goes really fast, and AI is only going to make it worse. And my brain moves really fast. It's just the way I was designed. So for my whole life, from young manhood to today, God has been dealing with me on the issue of patience. I wanted to make things happen, just get it done fast. I learned that on the farm. Milk the cows as fast as I can so I can go do something else. Watch a Phillies game, go hit golf balls, whatever it was. I wanted to get it done. It was like I put myself on a clock, get it done really fast, and move on to the next thing. Yeah, that's my personality. I guess that's good in some ways, but when it comes to waiting on God, it's the absolute most difficult type of personality to then learn how to wait. So that's my warfare with myself, my flesh. Just a little bit of background. All right? Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. So I'm going to put the glasses on because I don't know why I feel like glasses are such a detriment. I just don't like looking at myself with glasses. So I'm going to do the right thing. And I'm going to put the glasses on. I'm in way out Western Carolina right now, long drive, all that. Verse 5 of Habakkuk 2. Indeed, because the proud, he's talking to the proud right now, the wicked, he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man. He does not stay at home because he enlarges his desire as hell. If that's not a definition of China and Bill Gates and people that just want more and more, Jeff Bezos, they want to own all the industry, Walmart. They don't understand that they're human, if they are human, that small businesses get knocked out with the people buying on Amazon or going to Walmart. When Walmart comes into a community, it affects the local businesses. Look at Lowe's and Home Depot, what they do to hardware stores, right? Who sells appliances now? Only the big guys, right? You don't go to some local guy to buy an appliance. You buy it from Lowe's or Home Depot or another big, massive retailer. So the whole industry of small business has been attacked by scale. And they just keep enlarging. And it's a voracious appetite. And it doesn't take into consideration the basic human condition. We all have to share the earth. We all have a spot. But somebody that keeps going bigger and bigger when he's just one person, maybe married with 2 kids, and he wants to own the earth through corporate growth and own shares and just dominate the world that way, he's never satisfied, right? It's as hell, he says. The Bible says he's as hell. The desires of hell is to eat up the whole earth. And he is like death, and he can never be satisfied. Is that not true? He gathers himself to all nations. He heaps up for himself all peoples. Yeah, I mean, think about it. The wicked, empire leaders, they want to rule the world. Pride. It's the most dominant force on the earth is pride. Satan sold Adam and Eve on be like God. And these people who follow Nimrod and his example, build a tower to heaven and pull God down, they all operate in pride. Think about it. That's exactly what you're fighting with all the bad guys, is pride. But you need leaders. Leaders have to be strong. We're not talking about that. We're talking about proud, liar, deceivers, connivers, manipulators, war starters, pedophiles. All of this is about control. Jeffrey Epstein control. Not married, wanting to spread his semen all over the earth, inseminating girls, young girls, like he's a god, right? Why would you want to spread that kind of mind and that kind of lifestyle? Is that not pride? Will not all these take up a proverb against him, a taunting riddle against him, and say, woe to him who increases? Why? What is not his? How long? How long is this constant, voracious eating up of the nations and taking over the earth with so-called wacky word globalism, one worldism? It's never satisfied. Noah, Harari, Klaus Schwab, COVID, the scheme behind it, controlling the human population, which belongs to God and Jesus Christ, his son. And to him who loads himself with many pledges, overcommitted, can do it all, but he can't. He's a human, breathes, heartbeats, could die tomorrow, could die today. Will not your creditors rise up suddenly? It's kind of like America, where we've got many debts. Will they not awaken to oppress you, and you will become their booty? Yeah, think about that. We could become the booty. Because you have plundered many nations, all the remnant of the people shall plunder you. This is a promise that those nations who have plundered the resources of other nations, like China is doing, even taking our farmland, and in Africa, taking the resources there to build their batteries, right? Take their wheat at a cheaper price, and their natural gas, and their jewels, and their gold. Because of men's blood, and the violence of the land and the city, and all who dwell in it. Woe to him who covets evil gain for his house, that he may set his nest on high. I go out to the mountains, and there's people that have incredible houses, and guess what? They put their house at the top of a mountain, and it's glorious. But pride puts you there. When God's people dwell in caves, or they're hidden. Our day is not yet. But pride puts you on the high places, to own the high places. Look at all the things my hands have done. That's what Nebuchadnezzar did, and he ended up eating grass like an ox for 7 years. That he sets himself a nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of disaster, right? Because if you're up there, you think, I'll be safe. I'll be safe. You give shameful counsel to your house, cutting off many peoples, a sin against your soul. When you harm the human, when you make slaves of humans, and when you abort babies at your direction, government, and when you steal resources from people, tribal people, you harm your own soul, because you're going to have to appear before the throne, and you're going to have to appear before Jesus, the King. For the stone will cry out from the wall. I was telling somebody about how in Asheville, there's a place called Biltmore that was built, this massively gorgeous mansion but it was built with slave labor. The people barely had any money that built it. And it was built by this pride that we're talking about. And the stones cry out for justice that were put there on slavery labor. God pays his people that build. God pays the people that built the temple for Solomon. God pays well. The wicked don't pay well. And the beam will cry out from the timbers to answer the stones. Woe to him who builds a town with bloodshed, who establishes a city by iniquity. Behold, is it not of the Lord of hosts that the peoples labor to feed the fire? Like you're setting up your own destruction, your bloodshed, your wicked behavior, you're feeding your own fire for your own destruction. God sees it all. And the nations are wearying themselves in vain, for the earth will be filled with what? The glory of the Lord. When God is here and he is sitting on his throne in Jerusalem and he has dealt with all his enemies, the glory of Jesus Christ will fill the entire face of the earth. So the fire is to consume the wicked. The fire is to consume the lies. What does fire do? It consumes those who are not right. Things that are out of order. When Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the fire, the very soldiers, or whatever you want to call them, of Nebuchadnezzar, who told them to make the fire hotter, they made it 7 times hotter. What happened to them when they got near the fire? They were consumed because they were not right before God. The fire that is coming upon the earth will consume everything that is out of order, not right, full of pride. So the things you do in pride, you wicked, only increase the heat of your destruction. The fire gets brighter and the torment becomes more intense by every evil act, every extortion, every bribe, every lie, every pedophilic act, every stolen child. All that pride increases the heat of your judgment. That's what the Bible says, because the glory of the Lord will rest down upon this glorious earth that belongs to him, not you. As the water covers the sea. Woe to him who gives a drink to his neighbor, pressing him to the bottle, even to make him drunk, that you may look on his nakedness. This is what they do in the back quarters. This is what Jeffrey Epstein did. Drugging people, drugging women, drugging kids. They're doing it today, right now, while I'm doing this video. Judgment on every one of those right now who are doing this wicked act, spoken by a prophet of the Most High. Judgment is coming upon you right now for your wine bibbing, your forcing of drunken behavior to then take advantage, to violate people's privates for the sake of your own sick, evil pleasure. You are filled with shame instead of glory. You also will drink of the wine of the wrath of God. That's where we're headed, guys. And be exposed as an uncircumcised person. You have to be circumcised, not in the foreskin of your flesh, but in the foreskin of your heart. The cup of the Lord's right hand will be turned against you, and utter shame will be on top of your glory. For the violence done to Lebanon will cover you. That's where the cedars are. Look at the conflicts in Lebanon today. There's so much violence there. and the plunder of beasts, which made them afraid, because of men's blood, and the violence of the land and the city, and all who dwell in it. What profit then is the image, that its maker should carve it, idols, the molded image, as a teacher of lies? All your idols are teachers of lies, falsehoods, fake power, as you stare at your images of Baal, Clinton people, satanic people, the bodies that are bloodied up that you stare at and worship, the blood you shed that you sprinkle on yourself and worship, the people you worship, Beyonce, Michael Jordan, they all will be brought to shame. And the maker of the mold should trust to make a mute idol? Jeez, what are we doing? Woe to him who says to the wood, awake! To silent stone, arise! It shall teach me. Behold, it is overlaid with gold and silver, yet there's no breath in it at all. But the Lord is in his holy temple. All the earth shall keep silent before him. So when these 7 trumpets blow and the bad guys are dealt with, the wicked who took the mark are destroyed or brought into a place of absolute torment, there will be a time of silence. I'm going to finish this off. Habakkuk 3. The prophet's prayer based on this word from the Lord. A prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet of Sigoth. O Lord, I have heard your speech and was afraid. O Lord, revive your work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make it known. That's what we want today, guys. In wrath, remember mercy. God came from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. So in the past, God did amazing acts for Israel. And he's recounting those amazing acts, as we ought to as well today. God is still the same yesterday and forever. He's still mighty on his mountain. He's still reigning from above. No matter what the wicked do, no matter how much they get away with their lying, we think. Their day is coming. As I prophesy this, as Habakkuk prophesies what he prophesied, I'm speaking forth and re-energizing his holy words that are recorded for our knowledge and for our meditation, Selah. His glory covers the heavens, and the earth is full of his praise. When judgment finally comes, all you're going to hear is the praise of God. His brightness was like the light, and his rays flashing from his hand. And there was power. There his power was hidden. Before him went pestilence. This kind of points to Revelation. His fever followed at his feet. He stood and measured the earth. He looked and startled the nations. And the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills bowed. His ways are everlasting. I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction. The curtains of the land of Midian trembled. O Lord, were you displeased with the rivers? Was your anger against the rivers? Was your wrath against the sea, that you rode on your horses, your chariots of salvation? Your bow was made quite ready. Oaths were sworn over your arrows. Selah. You divided the earth with rivers. The mountains saw you and trembled. The overflowing of water passed by. The deep uttered its voice and lifted its hands on high. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. They sit inside of a controlled operation under God's feet, the sun and the moon. Fact, Habakkuk. At the light of your arrows they went, at the shining of your glittering spear. You marched through the land in indignation. You trampled the nations in anger. You went forth for salvation of who? God's people. For salvation with your anointed. That's Jesus Christ, the anointed one. You struck the head of the house of the wicked by laying bare from foundation to neck. Selah. You thrust through with his own arrows the head of his villages. They came out like a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was like feasting on the poor in secret. You walked through the sea with your horses, through the heap of great waters. When I heard, my body trembled. My lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he comes up to the people, he will invade them with his troops. So this prophet foresaw a day when he would see God come down, just like John saw God come down, this massive angel putting 1 foot in the sea and 1 foot in on the land, and had 7 thunders come out of his mouth, and he was not allowed to write before he consumed the little book. And out came the 7 trumpets, which are all dealing with earth issues. And it in no way assumes that we're sitting up in heaven having a good time while we watch it happen. We could be hidden on this earth in caves, in other secret places that God can make secret, though they're really a real place. He can put a wall of angelic power around it so no one can find it. Our God can do that. He did it during the 10 plagues in Egypt. Okay, the final hymn of faith. Though the fig tree may not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, though the labor of the olive may fail, and the fields yield no food, though the flock may be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. The Lord God is my strength. I will make my feet like the deer's feet, and he will make me walk on my high hills. To the chief musician with my stringed instruments. So he wrote a beautiful hymn after God told him about the destruction of the wicked. Why can't you and me today in America in 2025, this modern world, why can't we revel and rejoice today, for the joy of the Lord is our strength, in the fact, in the reality of the destruction of all the enemies of God? David says, I hate with perfect hatred those who hate you. Can you say with me today, August 11th, 2025, that you hate all the workers of iniquity who hate our God? How much do you love God? How much are you excited about his justice? How much do you want to see the destruction of the wicked? I can't wait. I want to ride right there next to Jesus as we go out and destroy all his wicked, evil enemies. That's my heart's desire, and I pray that you have that same desire. May God bless you today with joy. Shalom.